The yield dropped after the lithography step.
The yield dropped after the lithography step.
We observed line edge roughness at the advanced node.
We observed line edge roughness at the advanced node.
EUV exposure improved pattern fidelity.
EUV exposure improved pattern fidelity.
Overlay error impacts critical dimension control.
Overlay error impacts critical dimension control.
The exposure dose needs to be optimized.
The exposure dose needs to be optimized.
Double patterning increases process complexity.
Double patterning increases process complexity.
The resolution limit is reached at this node.
The resolution limit is reached at this node.
We need to adjust the focus and dose settings.
We need to adjust the focus and dose settings.
The litho window is too narrow for production.
The litho window is too narrow for production.
Pattern collapse occurred during resist development.
Pattern collapse occurred during resist development.
The stepper alignment shifted between lots.
The stepper alignment shifted between lots.
We're seeing systematic overlay drift.
We're seeing systematic overlay drift.
The mask needs to be inspected for defects.
The mask needs to be inspected for defects.
Immersion lithography extends the process capability.
Immersion lithography extends the process capability.
The critical dimension uniformity is off-spec.
The critical dimension uniformity is off-spec.
Line width variation increased at die edge.
Line width variation increased at die edge.
The resist thickness affects pattern quality.
The resist thickness affects pattern quality.
We need to reduce line edge roughness below target.
We need to reduce line edge roughness below target.
The exposure tool requires recalibration.
The exposure tool requires recalibration.
Optical proximity correction improved the pattern.
Optical proximity correction improved the pattern.
The root cause was traced to the etch profile.
The root cause was traced to the etch profile.
Etch selectivity degraded after process change.
Etch selectivity degraded after process change.
We're seeing sidewall damage during etch.
We're seeing sidewall damage during etch.
The etch rate varies across the wafer.
The etch rate varies across the wafer.
Deposition uniformity is critical for this layer.
Deposition uniformity is critical for this layer.
The film stress causes wafer warping.
The film stress causes wafer warping.
ALD provides better conformality than CVD.
ALD provides better conformality than CVD.
The etch stop layer is not working properly.
The etch stop layer is not working properly.
We need to optimize the plasma chemistry.
We need to optimize the plasma chemistry.
The deposition chamber requires cleaning.
The deposition chamber requires cleaning.
Etch residue is causing yield loss.
Etch residue is causing yield loss.
The aspect ratio is too high for gap fill.
The aspect ratio is too high for gap fill.
We're experiencing microloading effects.
We're experiencing microloading effects.
The barrier layer needs to be thicker.
The barrier layer needs to be thicker.
Deposition rate dropped after PM cycle.
Deposition rate dropped after PM cycle.
The etch selectivity to oxide is insufficient.
The etch selectivity to oxide is insufficient.
We need to reduce etch bias variation.
We need to reduce etch bias variation.
The film composition is out of specification.
The film composition is out of specification.
Plasma damage affects device performance.
Plasma damage affects device performance.
The deposition temperature is too high.
The deposition temperature is too high.
This lot failed due to contamination during CMP.
This lot failed due to contamination during CMP.
The polish rate is not uniform across wafer.
The polish rate is not uniform across wafer.
We're seeing dishing at wide metal lines.
We're seeing dishing at wide metal lines.
CMP slurry particles are causing scratches.
CMP slurry particles are causing scratches.
The planarization efficiency needs improvement.
The planarization efficiency needs improvement.
Wafer backside contamination increased defects.
Wafer backside contamination increased defects.
The cleaning process is not removing all particles.
The cleaning process is not removing all particles.
We need to reduce metal loss during CMP.
We need to reduce metal loss during CMP.
The oxide removal rate is too aggressive.
The oxide removal rate is too aggressive.
Particle adders were identified in the tool.
Particle adders were identified in the tool.
The CMP pad needs to be conditioned more frequently.
The CMP pad needs to be conditioned more frequently.
We're seeing pattern-dependent polish variation.
We're seeing pattern-dependent polish variation.
The post-CMP clean is not effective enough.
The post-CMP clean is not effective enough.
Copper residue is causing electrical shorts.
Copper residue is causing electrical shorts.
The dishing tolerance is too tight for this design.
The dishing tolerance is too tight for this design.
The defect density increased in the metal layers.
The defect density increased in the metal layers.
Yield learning is slower than expected.
Yield learning is slower than expected.
We need to perform Pareto analysis on defects.
We need to perform Pareto analysis on defects.
Systematic defects appear at specific locations.
Systematic defects appear at specific locations.
The killer defect ratio is higher than target.
The killer defect ratio is higher than target.
We're seeing new failure modes after node shrink.
We're seeing new failure modes after node shrink.
Defect inspection sensitivity needs to be increased.
Defect inspection sensitivity needs to be increased.
The random defect level is within control limits.
The random defect level is within control limits.
We identified the defect source in Module 3.
We identified the defect source in Module 3.
Inline inspection caught the excursion early.
Inline inspection caught the excursion early.
The defect density correlates with tool maintenance.
The defect density correlates with tool maintenance.
We need to classify defects by failure mechanism.
We need to classify defects by failure mechanism.
Visual inspection revealed patterning issues.
Visual inspection revealed patterning issues.
The yield model predicts lower production yield.
The yield model predicts lower production yield.
Defect reduction is the top priority this quarter.
Defect reduction is the top priority this quarter.
Process variation becomes more significant at smaller nodes.
Process variation becomes more significant at smaller nodes.
The window margin is too tight for mass production.
The window margin is too tight for mass production.
This process change affects transistor leakage.
This process change affects transistor leakage.
We need to optimize the process flow.
We need to optimize the process flow.
The integration scheme increases complexity.
The integration scheme increases complexity.
This step is sensitive to temperature fluctuation.
This step is sensitive to temperature fluctuation.
The process is not yet stable across all fabs.
The process is not yet stable across all fabs.
We need tighter process control at this node.
We need tighter process control at this node.
The parametric data shows bimodal distribution.
The parametric data shows bimodal distribution.
Chamber matching is critical for yield.
Chamber matching is critical for yield.
We're implementing advanced process control.
We're implementing advanced process control.
The process capability index is below target.
The process capability index is below target.
Lot-to-lot variation needs to be reduced.
Lot-to-lot variation needs to be reduced.
We need to correlate inline data with probe results.
We need to correlate inline data with probe results.
The process baseline was established last month.
The process baseline was established last month.
The node transition timeline is aggressive.
The node transition timeline is aggressive.
We're migrating from FinFET to gate-all-around.
We're migrating from FinFET to gate-all-around.
The new process requires additional mask layers.
The new process requires additional mask layers.
The design rule check flagged multiple violations.
The design rule check flagged multiple violations.
We're running a split lot to test both conditions.
We're running a split lot to test both conditions.
The technology node shrink impacts all modules.
The technology node shrink impacts all modules.
We need to validate the process at pilot scale.
We need to validate the process at pilot scale.
The new material integration poses challenges.
The new material integration poses challenges.
We're benchmarking against competitor processes.
We're benchmarking against competitor processes.
The process of record is being updated.
The process of record is being updated.
We need sign-off from all stakeholders.
We need sign-off from all stakeholders.
The roadmap shows 3 node transitions in 2 years.
The roadmap shows 3 node transitions in 2 years.
We're evaluating new equipment for next node.
We're evaluating new equipment for next node.
The cost per wafer increased after node migration.
The cost per wafer increased after node migration.
Technology qualification is scheduled for next quarter.
Technology qualification is scheduled for next quarter.